right, there we go. And welcome back to another installment here on the Lazy Genius Tarot and Bazaar. My name is Alex, and if you're new here, thanks for making this your first stop on the channel. If you do end up liking the content, do me a favor, hit the like and subscribe button down there. It keeps the channel growing and keeps you in the know for whenever I drop a new video. That being said, let's go ahead and dive in. Today, we're going to do a walkthrough of this deck here, which is the Pulp of Tarot. Now, this deck I got from Drive-Thru Cards around the same time that I picked up the 1909 Art Restoration deck. Came in on the same order. And I was more excited for this deck, I think, than I was for the Art Restoration. Here's the box. This is the front. Here is the back. The long sides just have the title of the deck. This side has the copyright with Sean Simmons, who is the creator of the deck. And then at the bottom is just some feathers, and the top is like a Celtic band almost. I love the Drive-Thru Cards tuck box, by the way. Now, this deck I actually came across randomly while on Drive-Thru Cards picking up the 1909 Art Restoration deck, and when I came across this deck, I noticed that it also had an expansion, which is called the World Expansion. It had a second expansion known as the Bone Zodiac expansion, and I will get a little bit more into these here in a few seconds, but I'm not going to actually do a walkthrough of these. I will do a separate walkthrough of the expansions for this deck in a later video. I'm actually going to do a number of videos, more than likely, on this deck every time the artist puts out a new expansion, which, if I'm not mistaken, his website alludes to another one at least being currently in the works. But whenever he releases a new expansion, I'll probably do a walkthrough of that, and then in that walkthrough video also kind of see if I'm going to swap any out for the base deck, and again, we'll get into that here in a bit. Now, the cards are on, like, the cardstock on the order sheet from Drive-Thru Cards says that it's a embossed cardstock, but if you look, I don't know if you can see that in the camera, it's like a linen finish almost, and it has that same feel. The cards are slippery, but not like as slippery as, say, the Pagan Otherworlds. So I don't know if it's a genuine linen or if it's just embossed to feel like linen, but the cardstock is nice on it. It is a rather flexible cardstock, but it's still definitely sturdy. I would equate it to something along the lines of just under the weight of the S30 cardstock from Make Playing Cards. Yeah, just under that weight. So not quite as thick as the S30, just a little under it. Yeah, cardstock is pretty nice. It feels like it's going to shuffle like a dream. I still haven't shuffled it yet. I am waiting to do that until I get through the video for these two, because I might want to swap out some cards here. Now, it does have this title card. I am going to go ahead and read this real quick because it kind of breaks down the idea of the deck. So it says here, actually, hold on, let me zoom in first. All right. So it says the Pulp of Tarot is an expansive passion project designed to suggest a makeshift deck built from pieces collected from other decks around the world. As if your funky sister pulled cards from here and there from dozens of decks in order to produce the divination tool that reflected her truest nature. She liked sci-fi, burlesque dancing, arcane mythology, cute animals, gunslingers, barbarians, old gods, detective fiction, monsters, and comic book exotica. Or comic book esoterica. I apologize, that's what that says. Comic book esoterica. Now, and then in parentheses it says, you have a very cool sister. Now, this is a deck that finds itself lost at sea, frozen in the Antarctic ice pack, adrift in space, and unstuck in time, to steal a phrase from Vognut. All of the minor and major arcana have the same meanings as before. Let me see here. Some are variations on the old classical designs. Pamela Coleman Smith was the master, and others are a fever dream update from way out of left field. 4 different coloring techniques were used for. Oh, 4 different coloring techniques were used. Dot dot dot. For numerologists and those who revel in patterns, this deck is more interested in 2s and 3s than in 4s. For example, only 3 of the 4 knights have horses, while 2 of the 3 kings are based on historical rulers, etc. Many actual card readers were consulted throughout the design of this deck. The Pulp of Tarot was conceptualized with new and extra cards in mind, beginning with the secret suits and alternate versions, progressing into the super arcana, starting with the 24th card of the arcana, which is the Kraken, which is included in the base deck here. While these extras must be sold separately, their exclusion due to printing structures in no way reduces the effectiveness of the basic 79 card deck. You do not need to purchase the expansion cards to enjoy the Pulp of Tarot, though these will be available for serious collectors and sideways thinkers. If you have read this far, you deserve to know that the 24th Arcana card, the Kraken, means that shit is hitting the fan for the Querent, and in the reversed, it means the same thing, but the Querent will merely observe the carnage rather than actually feel the repercussions. So on the title card there, he does give you the meaning for the 24th Arcana card, which is included here. That kind of breaks down the idea of the deck, wherein it is expandable and it almost creates like a living, sort of ever evolving deck, as you can continually swap out cards from the expansions into and out of the deck there. So let's go ahead and jump into the cards. You will notice, this is the Fool here. As we go through the cards, you will notice that the names and the titles of these cards are in different languages as we go through the deck. It really is comprised of a bunch of different, I guess you could say, pieces of tarot, and it is actually a really well put together deck. Here you have the Fool. He's got stickers on his suitcase. I think one says Australia. There's a couple for New York, one for Utah. Right at the edge of the cliff there, whistling away. There's no animal in the picture, but there is a little skull here in the corner. Here we have the Magician on his table. He's got the playing cards, pentacles, a wand, a sword, a couple of red balls, a Rubik's Cube, the little magician's egg. So it almost looks like the props, quote unquote, that you would think of for your average birthday magician, so to speak. He's got the bunny rabbit ears and what looks like a tail coming out of his hat up here. Yeah, my apologies. I should have put this, and I will put this in the title, nudity warning. There's a lot of nudity in this deck. So fair warning. I should have put the warning closer to the beginning there, but like I said, it spaced my mind. I will put it in the title though, so that you see it in the title before you even click on the video. But here we have the High Priestess, which I don't even want to try to pronounce the word at the bottom of the card there. Here we have the Empress. And again, I do not know the language that this is written in, but you see the sort of difference in art styles that the artist used to produce the cards here. Moving on, we have the Emperor. From what I can tell from reading through his website, he is a comic book artist. Here we have the Hierophant. This is written, I believe, in Spanish. If not Spanish, then French or Portuguese, one of the two. If it's not Spanish. But this is actually a really cool Hierophant card. This is one of my favorite Hierophant cards, actually. I like that one a lot. Here we have the Lover's card. I think this is a hilarious card, actually. Here we have the Chariot, which is a broke down Beetle. This looks like the Volkswagen bus, like the little mini bus. Looks all broken down. You've got the skull in the background there, and all of these seem to be the electric poles in the background. Like there's a big tree in the front right here, but then there's the electric pole in the background. Looks like a desolate sort of a post-apocalyptic thing there. Here we have the Strength card. It's a very interesting Strength card. The newspaper on the ground says Murderous Rampage. This guy is obviously bleeding like he's taking a bullet. There's a couple of bullet holes in the wall there. Here's the Hermit card. I like this Hermit card, actually. There's a little face in the staff up here at the top. It looks like he's wearing Converse under the Hermit's robe there. Here we have the Wheel of Fortune. I like the fact that the card here is upright, but then if you notice the title, not only is it, I believe, in French, but it is upside down at the top of the card there. I like the way he did that. I really like the artwork in this deck. Here's the Justice card. You've got a couple of different styles of comic book art kind of strewn through the deck here, and I really enjoy the artwork. Here we have the Hanged Man. This one appears to be a politician who is strapped to a table and positioned on the card to look like he's upside down, but looks like they're about to feast on this guy. Here we have the Death card, one of the images from the box there. I actually really like this Death card. I think it's a interesting artistic take. Here we have Temperance. This is a really, really cool Temperance card. Here you have what looks to be the image of what we would, I think, equate to, say, Mother Earth, with a tree growing from her hair, with all the leaves and the fruit hanging down here. Looks like a watermill on the side here for her earring. It's a very watercolory card. I really like that Temperance card. Here we have the Devil card. Here we have the Tower. I actually really like this Tower card. I think I've seen pictures of this deck elsewhere, like before I actually found it, or at least of this card. I know I remember seeing this card before I purchased this deck somewhere. Here we have the Star card. I actually really like this Star card. And one thing I'll have you notice too, as I flip through these cards here, the artwork on the cards is sort of like mislaid on the cards and sort of like off kilter, and the borders are all uneven, and the cards look like as if they were printed crooked and then cut straight. And it almost looks like it's intentional because the sizes are so different on every card. And then on the back, while it looks like it might have been off cut just a slight hair because of the way that the actual artwork is put on the cards, you almost don't even really notice because of the fact that the cards are already so off-centered, so to speak, I guess. It gives a really cool aesthetic for it. Here we have the Moon card. It's a really cool Moon card. The Sun. It's a very interesting sun card. You can see the path kind of goes all the way back up to the sun and then kind of winds down. And then if I'm not mistaken, this almost looks like an emulation of the Coca-Cola logo on the oxygen bottle. That's funny. Here we have the Judgment card. Here we have the World card. I really like this take on the World card here. Rather than the wreath, we have the lips and teeth. And then she's holding a spoon and fork in the picture there. You've got the skull. It looks like a skunk, a parrot, and an octopus, which would then relate to the 24th Arcana card that we just talked about when we read through the title card there. Here we have the Kraken. And then into the minors we go. Here we have the Cups. And again, it is a Rider-Waite-Smith based deck. So all of the card meanings will automatically fall back to the RWS meanings. Here we have the 4. And again, I really like the way that the artwork is laid out in this deck. Here's the 5 of, that's a really interesting 5 of Cups there. Here we have the 6 of Cups. Here we have the 7. The 8. I like this. It's definitely got the RWS imagery, but it's definitely been reworked in a fashion that brings sort of a new life to the imagery and the way that he put together the artwork. Like here we have the 9 of Cups, and they are titled, but the titles are going to be seemingly handwritten, and they're going to be small off on the bottom side, bottoms or sides of the cards. Like here we have the 10 of Cups. The title is written right here. And instead of the human family, we have the dog family, the smiley face ball, and another ball over here. Pretty cool card there. Here we have the Page of Cups. The Knight of Cups. Queen of Cups. The King of Cups. I really like the King of Cups. You've got a lot of symbology actually here in this card to unpack. I hope this guy writes a guidebook for his artwork for this deck. That would be super cool. And then into the wands we go. Here's the Ace, the 2, and you are going to see the roses and lilies kind of scattered throughout the deck here also, just randomly in the artwork of the cards. Here we have the 3 of Wands, the 4, and this is written, again, in a different language that I don't know how to pronounce. And here we have the 5 of Wands. This might be my favorite 5 of Wands card that I've actually seen. It's a pretty good one. Here's the 6 of Wands, the 7 of Wands. Here's the 8. I really like this 8 of Wands too, because you've got, your classic 8 of Wands sort of imagery right here on the left side of the card, but then you have Godzilla, who is holding a school bus, looks like he's eaten something that is now smoking, holding a tree he's ripped out of the ground. There's destruction all around behind him and through the skies. It's a great card. I really like this deck. Here's the 9 of Wands, the 10 of Wands, the classic Atlas imagery here. Here's the Page of Wands. You even have the gecko imagery there. Here's the Knight of Wands. I really like this card here, actually. You kind of have a floating city in the background, a couple of what looks like a moon or sun off in the background here. But then you also have another one here in the forefront. You have a couple of other little floating islands off in the distance. Definitely an interesting take on the Knight of Wands. Here's the Queen of Wands. I really like this Queen of Wands. And then as you'll notice, if you have not already, as I flip through the deck, it is very diverse, very inclusive. Um, there's sort of a representation of everybody. And then here's the King of Wands. I think this is... It almost looks like this guy's based on a character from The Walking Dead or something, I want to say. I'm not sure. But there's a dolphin in the background, beach ball. It's got the eye patch from the looks of it. And then here we go into the pentacles. Got the 1, 2, 3, 4. I like that card. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And see, as we go through the deck, some of them are going to be sort of the titleless cards, but if you look around the edges, you will find titles for them. Like here, the 7 of Pentacles, right? The 6 of Pentacles is written up here on the side, but then depending on the art that he's using for the card or the art style he's using for the card, you will catch a title across the bottom, and usually these are, as you see, all written in different languages. Here's the 10 of Pentacles, Page, the Knight, Queen, and the King. It's a very interesting King of Pentacles right there. Here's the 1 of Swords, 2. It's a very interesting card there. 3. See, here's another example of where you can see where it looks like it's intentionally offset in the printing before it's even cut. So it definitely adds a different layer of texture, I guess you would say, to the image. Here's the 4 and the 5. The 6, this is the image from the front of the box there. Here's the 7. You almost see like a UFO in the background and a couple of bubbles. Almost makes you wonder what the heck is going on over here. I like the art style of this deck, man. I like the way you put it together. It's definitely really well done. Here's the 8, 9, and 10. And then here on the ground in the 10, you actually see the 4 aces and the number 10 up here in the corner. And this one's written also in another language that I don't know what that is. Here's the Page of Swords, the Knight of Swords, Queen, and King. And that is the Pulp of Tarot deck. And like I said, you are probably going to see me post a couple of more videos about this deck in the coming weeks. Because I'm going to probably nerd out about this deck for a while. I really like this deck. What excites me the most about it is it's almost as if... Here, let's shuffle it while I'm talking. Let me zoom back out. Alright, so it's like... I'm not going to do an actual reading. I'm going to shuffle it though and pull a couple of cards just so we can see how it shuffles and see what they look like when we do pull the cards. Just based on the art style there, I think it's going to almost unfold like a comic book. So the reason why I like this deck so much is because as a kid, I was a nerd. Specifically, comic books, card games like Magic the Gathering, and art. Um, this sort of scratches all of the old nerdy itches that I have had in my life and puts them in a tarot deck, which is why I'm so excited about it. So the art here is almost like a comic book when you lay it out, right? So when you lay out the card, and that's a really cool first reading to pull. You got the Hierophant, the Sun, and the Nine of Pentacles there. Auspicious signs for the beginning of this deck. But when you lay out the cards, though, it almost reads like a comic book, right? And then the art style of the cards sort of continues to lend to that because of the fact that the artist is a comic book artist. So it scratches that comic book itch. And then the fact that it's got the expansions, right, with the world expansion and the Bone Zodiac expansion, it almost lends itself to a time when I was buying decks for Magic the Gathering and then getting the expansions for those decks and then swapping cards out and oh, I'm gonna put this one in there instead, right? So it kind of brings back memories of being in the old nerdy card shop, you know, wading through all of the kids that are in there playing all their different card games and the Battletech nerds over there in the corner and getting up to the counter so that you can get that brand new deck that just came out that's got the rare card in it that, you know, each deck has its own individual rare card and the new expansions, and it just brings back all kinds of nerdy memories, man, of cards, art, and comic books. And I really think I'm going to enjoy this deck. It's probably going to be the main deck that I use as we move into 2021 here. I think this is going to start off as my go-to deck for the year, here with the Pulp of Tarot. So again, I am going to do another video about the Pulp of Tarot, but the next one will be as a walkthrough for the 2 expansion packs that I have purchased for the deck. And again, all of this is available on Drive-Thru Cards. The artist's name again is Sean Simmons, and it is the Pulp of Tarot deck. And this deck is officially my new favorite deck in my collection, and it happened literally on a blind impulse buy. The only reason I bought it is because the expansions and it kind of looked cool. I didn't know what I was getting, honestly, and part of me thought that I was going to end up returning it to Drive-Thru Cards once I received it. But I got it, and first walkthrough I took, you know, first time I flipped through the cards on my own when I got it, I immediately fell in love with the deck. It's an amazing deck. I love it. Hopefully you guys like it too. You don't gotta like it as much as I do, but hopefully at least you enjoyed the video here. Again, like I said, I am gonna do another one with the expansions, but that is going to just about do it for the day. Oh yeah, before I forget, I keep it in this bag. I keep it in the box, but in the bag until I can find another bag that sort of suits the deck a little bit better. Maybe like a comic book bag or something, I think. But yeah, I think that about wraps it up for today. I definitely want to thank you guys for coming to spend some time with me. And again, if this is your first time, thank you for stopping by. and making this your first stop on the channel here. If you enjoyed the walkthrough of the Pulp of Tarot, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. That way, whenever I put out my walkthroughs, you can keep up to date with those. I will be doing walkthroughs every Wednesday moving forward, as well as a general tarot video every Tuesday. So yeah, I hope that you guys will continue to join me. I appreciate you for spending some time with me today, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one.